Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to this week's Hymn of the Week. And as you've gathered by the title, we're trying to link a hymn to Disney. It is doable, and bear with me because we have a special guest helping us out in the second half of this video. Oh my goodness me. Now, the hymn in question is a very, very simple hymn found in the German hymnal, in the Gotteslob, that's the German Catholic Church hymnal. And it's number 208. It's a Agnus Dei hymn, so Christe du Lamm Gottes, that would be the German version of it. And the melody is from 1528. It's an incredibly old melody. Now, when I play this hymn in church, I play it in a very, very bizarre way. I really do. And I like to play it in a very modal way. Now, this is a very important word, modal. Scales are modes, not the other way around, okay? So your major and minor scales that you know from learning piano all those years ago, those are modes. And it's not the other way around. Modes are not scales. Scales are definitely modes, okay? So we have to remember that. Modes are kind of like the sort of the I don't know, what shall we say? Modes are the backbone of rows of notes in different orders to make different sounds. And of course, connected with modes, if you're a jazz musician of any sort whatsoever, modes will automatically lead you to various different harmonic connections. I'm not going to go into that today because this is a subject that really, really goes on forever and ever and ever. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to play my version of this hymn, the way I play it in church when I play it on Saturdays and Sundays. And then I'm going to hand over to, ladies and gentlemen, one of the Disney organists of this world. Yes, an actual organist who has actually played the organ for an actual Disney film. Yes, so therefore we can call him a Disney organist. And if you've seen a recent Disney feature involving ghosts and large houses, I'm just going to leave it at that, then you may have heard an actual organ playing in that film. And that's an actual pipe organ in an actual studio in actual Los Angeles. That's an awful lot of actuals. And the actual organist who actually played that for that film was none other than our good friend, Mr. Aaron Showers, who lives over in Hollywood land himself. He lives in the greater Los Angeles area, and he is making inroads into the world of film and television music. And oh my goodness, is he a talented young man. Aaron also does regular live streams here on YouTube, and if you haven't checked out his channel yet, then for heaven's sake, go and check it out because it's wonderful stuff. He's incredibly entertaining, very funny guy, very talented organist and pianist, as we're about to hear, and just a very, very talented musician, all in. He can do it all. And Aaron and I, we've known each other now for quite a while, and Aaron and I are we are kind of similar in the way we treat the organ. We treat the organ as an instrument that can do it all right? We're not limiting the organ to this instrument that can only play church music in churches for church people. Oh, good heavens, no, the organ. Don't forget, the organ as we know it is actually a relatively late comer to the church world. The organ started out life as an instrument of entertainment. It was in amphitheaters and theaters and colosseums. You would find organs that would entertain. Yeah, the organ has always been an instrument of entertainment, and then relatively late in life became a church instrument. Don't forget that. So here we are. I'm going to play this hymn now the way I would normally play it, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit, and then I'm going to hand over the baton to Mr. Showers, who is going to show us how a Disney musician would do it. It's amazing. So this is a one-take wonder today. So here's the tune in question. This is the organ of Billerbeck, by the way. And am I recording? Yes, I am recording. That's very important. Hold on. I'm saying this is a one take. I've got the organ set up for something else at the moment, so I have to go back and set it up to the normal settings. There we go. That's what we're looking for. So the melody is very, very simple. Let's play the melody on the harmonic flute of the solo division. Sounds like this. That repeats. And then the final section sounds the same. Up to this point. And this is where the tune takes a turn for the different. And it ends on that note. And it sort of ends in mid-air, basically. So if you were to harmonize that like a normal musician might, you would do something like this in F major. Ending there in the middle. Ooh, a nice windy day today, blowing our music around. I don't do it like that. I turn it into a piece of music by French composer Maurice Duruflé. And I do things like this. Get ready for this. This is, and I take it to a new world at the end. I think that's rather different. It's also a part in the service. Don't forget, if you're playing this for a church service, this would come just before the congregation wander up for communion. This is where this would take place. So I love to give it that sort of chord at the end, which sort of just wakes people up and think, oh yes, we're moving on now. And also, I don't do it in F major. I think the F major. That makes it sound, I don't know, it makes it sound too simple. So I take it down to D minor, but I'm playing around with the modes of D minor. And then here, you think, maybe we're going to F major this time. But I don't. I stay in D minor for the second one, just repeat what I did. Get some movement in the middle lines. Now sometimes I could do this now. I could go to F. But then, and then maybe go there. And then, but then I have to kind of, and it's not quite what I'm aiming at. So I stick to the D minor. This is the final section. Stick in D, and then I take it to a new mode. Where the hell did that come? I don't know. We go to a different place. And then, just to really go for it, and then back, tritone substitution, taking me here. And then you sort of think, now we're going to F. Nope. Ending in the completely unrelated key of G major. How did we get there? And that's kind of, I've gone through various different modal ideas here. So we've got that's the basic mode of the piece so far. And at the end, I've gone to the, what mode is that? Answers in the comments below. So it's a D minor thing again, but with a major sixth. What mode is that? You tell me. All right, so there we have it. So that's how I would do it. That's how I would go about harmonizing this piece of music. I'm going to hand you straight over to Aaron Shows. Now, Aaron recorded this a few weeks ago. I challenged him to this during one of my live streams a few weeks ago. He did it in one of his live streams, and then he sent me the footage for it. So with a click of the fingers, we are going to leave Germany, fly over to Los Angeles, and see what Mr. Shows is up to. See you in a minute.
All right, so I'll play it first through the way it is written, do some simple chords, and then I'll try maybe 2 different ways to re-harmonize this and see how it goes. This is one of those Lamb of God, take away the sins of the world kind of things. The Agnus Dei looks like. So it's all in German, but I can pick that out of it from the words. Let's see what happens. All right, I've got to change this back actually, since my phone is my way to change camera angles here. Well, there you are. You're like floating off into heaven with that. So that is a synth pad called Celestial Voices. So I had a piano with some Celestial Voices playing that. Anyway, very cinematic like. But you know, if you had that kind of in a service in a nice reverberant church, that would kind of work. If you really got the choir to help out singing that melody line, with the bass note being a note below that. So your first note is this note, but I'm playing as the first bass note. Anyway, so in music theory, that's called a modal way of doing that. And by that I mean major keys, minor keys are both versions of modes. There's different minor keys that are different modes, and that mode in particular is called the Lydian mode, Lydian. And what that means is it's like a major scale, except for the fourth note of that scale. Major scale, right? The fourth note of that scale is sharp. And what that means is it's a very, very happy sounding. I think Lydian mode is the happiest sounding mode of all the modes. You can't make Lydian mode sound sad, I don't think. And maybe someone else can figure it out. But when you have that sound, where do you go from there? It just sounds so happy. So anyway, Lydian mode sounds very angelic and ethereal. Hence why a lot of Hollywood films use that mode, especially in Disney films. This is kind of a improvisation thing here, so I'll see how I can get this to work. But in Disney films, a lot of people use the Lydian mode because composers use this because it sounds so happy. And so a Disney princess might sing a song like this. I have a feeling it sounds like this. And then they go up by a third, another Lydian mode. And now I have a feeling it sounds like this. Up another third, and now I'm feeling it. So it just gets higher and more happy sounding. So that's that's kind of what the Lydian mode does. And I've took that whole thing and put it in that mode and made it sound very happy and angelic. So that's the best I can do, Fraser. I'm so sorry that I don't think I kept that melody as churchy as it should be. But a mode is a church thing. It came from the church. So anyway.
Oh my goodness me. Thank you so much, Aaron, for your, wow, Disney princess style. I bet you never thought you could take a piece of music from the 1500s, from the 16th century, and turn it into a piece of music fit for a Disney princess. If anybody can do it, then it has to be a Disney organist like Aaron. Isn't that amazing? That's unbelievable. Now, this is the power of modes, you see, ladies and gentlemen. You take a simple line of notes, as it were, an order of notes or whatever, and then you sort of put them in a different bass, and then the harmonies become rather sort of different. Isn't that amazing? Thank you so much, Aaron, for showing us that. Now, that video that Aaron recorded, that, like I said before, came from a few weeks ago. I challenged Aaron to re-harmonize that piece of music during one of my live streams a few weeks ago. And by the way, live streams every Friday night, every Sunday night. That's Central European time, 2200 hours. Every Friday night is organ music night. Every Sunday night is organ music night. Tuesdays, which you're watching today, is Hymn of the Week, Disney Hymn of the Week this week, and Thursdays is Piano Day with some boogie woogie, some jazz, and some exciting things on the piano. All sorts of goodies. So there you are. Yeah, so once again, thank you so much to Mr. Aaron Showers for agreeing to reharmonize this wonderful piece of music. And, well, yeah, turning it into something beautiful. Now, I will be trying out his harmonization at some point in church just to see what kind of reactions we get. I think it gives it a much more sort of mystical and magical feeling, don't you think? What do you think? Again, let me know in the comments below. And please, ladies and gentlemen, when you finish watching this video, do please scoot over and check out Aaron's channel. Aaron's channel is nowhere near as big as it deserves to be. So please go check him out. Add your subscription to his channel. Watch his videos, especially his live videos at the weekend. They are wonderful, full of excitement and you never know what you're going to get next. It's absolutely amazing. Really, really wonderful, spontaneous stuff. He calls them spontaneous Sundays for a very good reason, and he deserves a much larger audience. So, my dear friend, thank you very much indeed for helping me out today with reharmonizing a wonderful old hymn. And, ladies and gentlemen, I look forward to seeing you again very, very soon. Bye-bye.